From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Opinions on police shootings in Dallas and Baton Rouge have divided communities across the country. However, some local pastors wanted to show that that's not the case in Troy as residents gathered for a prayer vigil Tuesday night. Samantha Charles has the story.
Pastors from the Pike County area gathered with residents at the Troy Recreation Center on Tuesday for a night of prayer and worship in response to recent racial events across the country.
With everything that's going on with law enforcement and so many other things in this country, there were a group of pastors that just felt like, we had been talking and just felt like coming together as a community and praying and just getting together and showing unity would be an important step in, making things better.
The vigil comes after 5 police officers were killed in Dallas, and Alton Sterling and Philando Castile died at the hands of law enforcement.
The lives of officers that were slain, the lives of black people, and the consistency of continuing all across the nation. There's a fear. There's a fear of black youth. There's a fear and a sense of injustice, a pending brewing. But we got to pray that God tone that down because it can get out of hand. And there's a police officer afraid as well. And the sheriffs are afraid. And so we have to pray. So the passion for me is that we have to come together. And I think this is long overdue for the church to come together. We talked about it before. We prayed about it before. But now it's a crisis in our nation and there's a pain in our nation.
Pastors prayed for the families of those who lost their lives, as well as for the healing of the nation and the community.
The community needs to feel together. It needs to feel a closeness and things that, and we've got to respect and understand the rule of law, and we've got to understand each other, and we can't do that if we're not in the same place, if we're not trying to talk, if we're not trying to work together. And I think that actions speak so much louder than words.
Wednesday marked the final day of classes for the summer semester at Troy University. Ryan Renfro caught up with a few students to see what they enjoyed most about their summer and what they're looking forward to in the fall.
This week marks the last week of summer classes as Troy students take final exams and reflect on their summer.
Summer here at Troy was really great. I thought it was going to be really boring, really down, but not really. A lot of people stayed in long, and I was really happy about that.
For some here on campus, summer brings jobs and more time in the classroom. And if you ask the students, balancing responsibilities can be challenging.
It's really difficult, but it's very possible because during the day I have my class, and then in the afternoon I got impact, and then at night I just sit home and study. Final was long, but I punched through it.
It can be stressful for a lot of people. It has been at times for me, but just kind of find a way to balance all the hours out.
It's hard at sometimes. You have to find the right balance. You have to prioritize correctly. Make sure when your friends call you to come out, you got to tell them no. It's just a sacrifice you have to make being in college.
As new students arrive, graduates make preparations to leave Troy behind. And one Trojan soccer player is preparing to do just that.
It's going to be weird, definitely, because you make your life here and you get into a routine, and then it's going to be completely different when I go back to England. So it's definitely, I don't know, I guess it hasn't hit me yet. It'll probably hit me when I'm on the plane or something on the way home.
And as the summer semester comes to an end, students share what they're looking forward to most in the fall semester.
Just seeing everybody again. I've been in Troy all summer with not many people around, and I'm excited to see all my friends again and see the campus full.
Just seeing everyone back again and just showing the new freshmen, like, hey, have the Trojan spirit, and just like, this is a great school you picked, and like, I'm really proud that you picked it.
Sometimes during the summer the campus can be kind of dead, but during the fall you can always expect to see someone out there, someone someone you can speak to, new friends.
The fall semester will begin on August 17th. Ryan Renfro, Troy, TrojanVision News.
While the semester wrapped up on Wednesday, the last impact session of the summer finished up last week. During the sessions, impact leaders showed incoming freshmen what to expect from their new home. Samantha Charles spoke with some of the leaders to get their take on the end of the summer-long sessions.
It's been amazing. There's some things I expected, some things I didn't expect.
After 2 months and 11 rounds filled with incoming freshmen, the Impact orientation sessions are coming to a close.
Bittersweet because, we got the chance to meet all these freshmen, and it's so sad not to be able to meet any more of them and tell them all of our life stories and whatever, but at the same time we don't have to wake up at 6:30 in the morning anymore.
This experience was definitely unforgettable. It taught me about myself as a leader. It taught me about others and to appreciate their differences. Overall, it's been a summer that's definitely changed me and molded me into a better leader and a more experienced young woman.
Clark and Crutcher explain how they used their personal experiences to help incoming students transition to the college life.
When I came, it seems like everything was very business. Everything was, this is what we're doing, we need to keep in line, and we just have a lot of fun.
When I came through, I was just I really loved the way my Impact leaders treated me and how much they interacted with me in the upcoming fall semester after that. So I wanted to give back, so that's the reason why I did Impact, and to be honest, I loved it then and I love it now.
These students also made lifelong friendships with the other Impact leaders that took them as far north as Illinois and as far south as Florida.
We've gone so many random road trips. We've gone to Chicago. We took a random trip to the spring in Florida. We're taking an actual group trip to Orlando. It's just a lot of spur of the moment things we've been doing.
And in less than a month, those incoming freshmen will start classes. But before many of them walk into a classroom, they'll have to move into a dorm room. Troy's housing office is looking for some volunteers to make that move in as easy as possible. Nathaniel Rodriguez shows us how.
His housing department is looking for volunteers to help students and their families move into their dorms. Move-in week will begin August 13th, which is typically the busiest day for moving. According to Assistant Director of Housing and Residence Life, Sarah Jo Burks, there are over 2,000 students expected to live on campus during the upcoming school year.
We'll have a large number of excited new Trojans coming to move in that weekend, so we'll be really busy on Saturday the 13th.
In order to lessen the workload for the families, Burks sent out an email to faculty and staff to help with the moving process. However, volunteering is not limited to university employees. Anyone can help.
Basically, all they need to do is contact the housing office or contact me. They can email me at sburks@troy.edu, or if they can't remember that, just email housing@troy.edu and let us know that they're interested in being a volunteer for that weekend.
And moving furniture is not the only thing a volunteer can help with. They can also work in less physical roles.
You don't always have to be able to pick and lift something up. You can hand out water, or you can give directions if you're, become familiar with the campus, and you can give directions on how to get to the bookstore, how to get to the University Police station here on campus. They often have questions. They need to buy their parking decal, or they haven't quite finished doing everything they needed to do at the health center.
Aside from helping the families with the physical part of moving in, Burke says volunteers also affect the family's opinion of Troy University.
And they just have that welcome to Troy, and I think that's so important for families to feel like they're leaving their student in good hands. I think it's just an all-around good feeling, and it promotes the city of Troy as well as Troy University.
Burke says that in the past, housing usually recruited around 100 volunteers. Nathaniel Rodriguez, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll take a look at the Pokemon invasion of Troy University. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
So they say it's a man's world? Well, I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were out doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. We changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
The Department of Theater and Dance held the creative drama portion of its summer spotlight camps this week. The theme of this session is Experience the Journey. Nathaniel Rodriguez has the story.
Children from ages 6 to 13 are coming to Troy University this week for part 2 of the Department of Theater and Dance's Summer Spotlight. This week's session focuses on creative drama and teaches children about journeys through the story of The Lion King. The children were divided into 3 groups among Long Hall, Malone Hall, and the Trojan Center.
So we're all over campus this week, and it is a creative drama camp, so that's what our main focus is creative drama and imagination, creativity, and that's what we're doing all over this campus.
Creative drama instructor Mary Catherine Chambliss says the class allows kids to have fun in a hands-on manner.
We work on being comfortable in our bodies, comfortable with our voices, and using our imagination, something that a lot of times is turned off today with cell phones and that sort of thing. Young people don't get the opportunity to be creative and simply play.
On Friday, the children will put on a production of The Lion King, allowing them to know what the drama process is like.
Learning lines, learning choreography. What's it like to pick up dance moves really, really quick? What is it like to take on the body of an animal? We get to be giraffes, we get to be lion cubs, birds, and how is that different than just being a human?
Creative drama assistant Miranda Walton says the children are responding well to Summer Spotlight.
And I think it's really special because all of the children seem to have like a happy attitude, and they're all thriving, and they're growing up, and they're learning a lot more about acting itself and the purpose of it, and working together as a team and not just like one-on-one time. It's a whole group effort.
According to Walton, the number of children attending the creative drama session is the highest it's ever been. Nathaniel Rodriguez, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The majority of the kids in the summer spotlight are around elementary age, but the camp does make room for some even younger campers, affectionately known as the mini spotlighters. Ryan Renfro introduces us to the youngest members of the camp.
It's time to say hello to the students of this week's Summer Spotlight on Creative Drama. But you may know these students as the Mini Spots. Children ages 4 and 5 are getting their first taste of storytelling and have already begun working on their own production of The Frog Prince.
Stories are so compelling. That's why people love theater, is because stories grab our heart. And so the kids, of course, remember it.
And not only do they remember, students have already started working on the set, costume designs, and songs to go along with the production. One assistant to the students shares what he loves most about working with the kids.
Watching them be able to work through coloring, through cutting, through decorations, through listening to stories, everything. It's just a very interesting process to watch their imaginations take flight.
And as those imaginations take flight, so does their love for theater, as these youngsters learn to express themselves through the arts. And as for the more experienced performers, working with these kids has helped them see that the importance of theater goes far beyond a curtain and a stage.
It shows us the importance in reaching out to the community, because that's where it all starts, is with the young kids. We have to nurture that as it grows so that they have a positive first impression on the arts.
Throughout the rest of the week, students will be learning new dances and working on additions to their production that will go up on Saturday. And if you look behind the curtain, you'll see a foundation of hard work and creativity that assistants hope is only the beginning.
We get connected with them, and we see just the beginning of something special inside of them, just instilling passion, just because we believe that that's really important.
During the summer, the city's recreation center is a popular spot for families due to the pools and the splash pad. But on Friday night, the center brought families together for a little entertainment under the stars. Austin Cofield gives us a look.
Usually when the sun sets, people head indoors to watch movies. But on Friday night, the Troy Parks and Recreation Center set up an outdoor movie theater where citizens of all ages were encouraged to attend.
Tonight we're showing our second outdoor movie for the summer, and we plan to do one more, but this is just a free community movie just to kind of get everybody out in the community out under a nice sky and watch an outdoor movie and just get together and fellowship with people and just get together and hang out.
The showing of the night was a movie called Zootopia, a recent production from Disney that has received good reviews from children and adults alike.
Well, it's a movie on this bunny cop, the first bunny cop, and she's going to prove herself to be the best cop in the whole squad.
This message shows that someone who's small and cute and maybe not as qualified can be just as qualified as everybody else and do whatever they want. And it's kind of like dream big, and you can succeed in whatever you want to do.
This isn't the first time the Parks and Recreation Center has done an outdoor movie theater, and it won't be the last. There will still be one more movie showing before summer ends, hoping to accomplish the goal of bringing the city of Troy together and coming together as a community to enjoy something with their neighbors and friends.
I think it's good for our town. I think it's really good for our town just to come together. Like, we don't all know each other, but I think it's good for all of us to come together and watch a movie together. You know, just a cute little town doing that. I think it's cute. I like it.
We need to keep doing things like this, not just the Troy Rec Center, but just everywhere, just so the community can come together more and we can just be one big happy Troy.
And it's the smartphone app that's taken the world by storm, Pokemon Go. Even though players around the world are trying to catch them all, there are plenty of players at Troy University getting in on the action. Austin Cofield takes a look at Pokemon hunting in Trojan territory.
Troy University may seem normal to the naked eye, but you can now find and catch creatures called Pokemon scattered all around Troy's campus thanks to the new phone app Pokemon Go.
Well, Pokemon Go is a collaboration between the Pokemon Company, Inc. and Niantic, developers of the augmented reality game Ingress, in which they kind of bring the magic of catching and battling with Pokemon to life, where they use real-world location data where you go out, catch Pokemon, interact with others, you know, and essentially be the best like no one ever was.
Pokemon Go players can stop by various points of interest on Troy University's campus, like the iconic fountain on the quad, in order to reach Pokemon stops and Pokemon gyms, places that are necessary to help trainers catch them all.
There's a lot of different places on campus that got marked with these Pokestops, and they allow me to understand, like, you know, what was important to somebody at some point. Somebody thought it was important that this little, like, you know, the thinker is on the game, and this garden here is on the game, and so somebody thought that these spots were neat and important, and it's kind of fun to see that in a game and in real life.
The campus has several of these points of interest, such as the Trojan Fountain on the quad and the Thinker statue, acting as Pokestops, while locations such as the Garden statue outside Adams and behind the baseball field acting as Pokemon gyms.
Well, right now there's 3 teams, and they each represent a legendary Pokemon. You can go for Team Yellow, Team Red, or Team Blue, and the reason why teams are important is because you can take over gyms and basically have your own group at that place protecting it. So you can go to other people's with different colors and you can take their gyms, and it just really creates a competitive environment.
If you own the game, it's important to always be aware of your surroundings, don't play and drive, and if walking around at night, bring a group with you. Austin Cofield, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll hear some offerings from our friends at Troy Public Radio. So don't touch that dial.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Now back to Troy TrojanVision News Weekly.
Each week we take some time to hear some of the work done by our broadcast partners at Troy Public Radio. As we do each week, we'll get another sample of Talk of Troy, the student-produced newscast of Troy Public Radio. Let's take a listen.
It's the Talk of Troy. Voices and sounds from the campuses of Troy University. I'm Hayes Grissom. A new style of teaching will be introduced to some history students this fall on the Troy campus. Producer Nishay Doremus has the story.
History Through Games is a new course at Troy that incorporates role-playing to entertain and teach at the same time.
Students enjoy it. They seem to get more into, looking at the documents more. They seem to be more interested in the historical experience.
Scout Bloom is the instructor of the course, and she has first-hand experience with role-playing games, and she believes it will change the way students learn course material.
One of the things that we fight against in history is this idea that history is just names and dates and, that it's boring.
For more information about the History Through Games course, visit troy.edu/news. For the Talk of Troy, I'm Nashady Ramus.
It's been 4 weeks since the United Kingdom voted to exit the European Union. And if you're still not quite sure what Brexit means, Stephen Taylor, Troy's Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, has an explainer. Taylor says immigration was a major factor that led to the split.
One of the tensions in Europe is about migration within Europe. Just as we see in the U.S., there's tension about immigration.
And Taylor believes there will be an impact for the U.S. market.
It will likely strengthen the U.S. dollar, which sounds like a good thing and can be in certain circumstances, but it will also mean that U.S. products are more expensive in the international marketplace.
You can read more of Stephen Taylor's Brexit explainer at troy.edu/news.
Throughout the week, Troy Public Radio can be heard on 89.9 in Troy and Montgomery, 88.7 in Dothan, and 91.7 in Phoenix City. Well, it's time for our last break, but when we return, we'll learn how Troy University's libraries are hoping to spread the love of reading across Southeast Alabama. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
Now back to TrojanVision News Weekly.
A federal grant will allow Troy University's libraries to share the love of reading across Southeast Alabama. We'll learn more about the program in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today we'll be talking about the Big Read program and what it's going to mean for Troy University campuses across the state. And my guest today is Dean of Libraries, Chris Schaefer. Chris, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And the Big Read, when you talk about reading, one might associate libraries. So obviously, Troy University libraries are participating in this Big Read program. Tell us a little about what the Big Read is all about.
The Big Read is just cool. It's a great opportunity for everybody to read a book together. It's a community-wide reading initiative. Forget about your devices, forget about your screens, and just share in this experience of everyone reading one book and talking about it.
And of course, this is part of a national program that kind of helps facilitate this. So tell us about Big Read and why it's so important, I guess, to get people involved with reading and why this program is so important.
Well, I think it's important for a variety of reasons. One is you have a lot of people who don't take the time to read anymore. Quite often, we don't take the time just to sit around and talk about a book. Book clubs used to be huge. They haven't gone away, but I don't think they're as common as they used to be because there's so many various distractions. So I think it's a really great opportunity for a community to come together and just share a moment.
And everyone be on the same page,
yes.
to use a pun there, but to talk about it, the same book and kind of look and explore. And let's talk about the book that you'll be discussing this year. It sounds like a very interesting one for everyone, especially in this area, to be interested in reading this book.
Well, it is, and it's just such a unique story because what you've got is a girl who is ultimately going to find out that her father has another family. And so one family knows about the other family does not know about it. And the family that knows starts doing things to learn more about the other one, and it kind of goes from there. And so it's a very unique book. Another thing that is unique about the book is the author is alive. And quite often when you do things like this, the book is 100 years old or something. And so we are going to have the author here. And that's going to be great, but she'll be speaking in Montgomery. This is a Montgomery-based grant, but we will have her in Troy as well, and also be doing book giveaways on all of our campuses.
And of course, we kind of glossed over the name of the book and the author. Tell us the name of the book and the author for people out there who are interested.
The book is Silver Sparrow, and it's by Tayari Jones. It's set in Georgia, and she is a professor at Rutgers University.
And we're seeing the cover of it here for folks that picked it up. So an opportunity that if they see this book around, maybe go ahead and grab a copy sometime before things start up in the spring. Now, you talk about this is mainly a Montgomery-based thing. So a lot of the activities are going to be happening on the Montgomery campus in the Rosa Parks Library and Museum. Kind of talk about having it, I guess, centered in the Montgomery campus and what that's going to mean for the folks out there, especially the Montgomery viewers out there, and the opportunity to get involved with the library up there.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for outreach. We're going to be working with local businesses, and so you're going to have a lot of activities that are outside of the campus as well. One of our best librarians, Alyssa Martin, wrote this. The Big Read is sponsored by the NEA, and we got $16,600 just to promote this book and encourage people to read. So I just think it's great.
And of course, you talked about the opportunities for discussions, and they will get a chance to hear from the author itself. Yes. But why is it, and we touched on this earlier, is it important for us people to be able to find a common bond in a book and to be able to talk? You talked about the book club kind of aspect of it, but why is it so important for people to get to be on the same page and to know and learn about a book together?
Well, I don't think they have to necessarily be on the same page. I think it's there is intrinsic value in the sharing of the human experience that you get from a book that you cannot get from any other sort of medium. And I think that's the reason that this year, for the first time in several years, you've seen an increase in print book sales and a decrease in ebook sales. But I think there is still a great deal of value in just holding this tangible artifact and sharing the experience.
And of course, and we mentioned earlier that a lot of this is going to be focused on the Montgomery campus, but there will be opportunities for the other campuses, the libraries on all of the Alabama campuses to get involved with as well. What can we expect on some of the other campuses? So,
in Phoenix City, I will be doing primarily a book giveaway. All told, we're going to give away 2,000 books. And I don't totally know what we're doing yet in Dothan because we haven't known about this this long, but I think it may involve a partnership with the public library if they're willing. And so if Mr. LeDuc is listening, surprise. and of course in Montgomery we'll have a variety of activities.
And of course, and it is early yet. We're in the summer right now, but this is going to be happening in the spring of next year. So there'll be many more announcements and activities on tap. And I know as you finalize some things, some more activities will be out there and folks can pay attention. And maybe we'll bring you back here, Chris, a little bit closer to the startup of all the activities. We'll get kind of a better rundown of what's happening. So,
that'd be great. I'd love it.
Well, looking forward to seeing you back here maybe in the spring. We'll talk a little more details about the Big Read. Thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's what happened on the third week of July 2016. This was our last show of the summer. We will return in August during the fall semester. Until then, feel free to like our Troy TrojanVision News fan page on Facebook to see links to online content from Troy TrojanVision News that you might have missed. Well, we hope you join us again in the fall for more Troy TrojanVision Weekly. Until then, have a good summer.